¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome to the Wednesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday. Welcome, everybody. We have short stream today. I do have plenty of things to do. Unfortunately, right after I've got to bounce to get more supplies before the winter storm hits this weekend. Since, I still will be working. Let me make sure we got everything here. I did not bring up all the articles that I wanted. Okay, hold on, folks. Butter and milk, true. And firewood. No, I need other supplies. Oh, how's it going, Army of Lime? I'm tired today. Sheesh. Sleepy for some reason myself. Yeah. It definitely the vibe. The vibe is sleepiness. All right, so I guess we should start with some. We should start with some meme articles, I guess. That's how we should start. Let's talk about the Alex Jones update. Well, well, well. If it isn't the consequences of my actions. The GOP is the universe of memes. I mean, among other things, yeah. Alio with the 10 biddies. How's it going? Thank you. Judge strips Alex Jones of bankruptcy protection for the 1.5 billion Sandy Hook debt. So if he thought he was just going to bankruptcy himself out of that one, no. No. Houston Judge Christopher M. Lopez reportedly ended a stay preventing Sandy Hook families from collecting 1.5 billion judgment against the conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. I mean, that's one way of putting him. One way of putting it. In a ruling on Monday, Lopez granted an order to lift the stay that was automatically put in place when Jones filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The judge set the order immediately to allow the Sandy Hook post-trial family case to continue to proceed to entry of final judgment, and two, once the judgments are entered, to allow appeals, if any, to proceed, and the Sandy Hook post-trial families to pursue, respond to, and participate in any such appeals without further order of the court. News 12 Johns Craven reported that the families of Sandy Hook victims agreed to postpone collection of the massive debt for now. That's a good meme. No, I'm not. No. This is too funny. So, no matter what, at the end of the day, not even bankruptcy is going to save Alex Jones from this one. If he thought that was, if he thought that was his saving grace, Alex Jones, conspiracy expert, could not see this judgment coming. No, no, he was trying to he's trying to get out of paying it by filing for bankruptcy. Um, that's the idea. Consequences, my friends. Consequences. $1.5 billion. I mean, this is kind of like one could almost say this is kind of like a foreshadowing of what's to come with the whole like Mike Lindell Dominion trial as well. This is kind of like a little foreshadowing. Alex Jones should work for Trump. He has no money. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Trump doesn't pay his people anyways. Trump doesn't pay his people anyways. Thank you for the follow, Pablo Cadiz. Thank you. Welcome. They have a lot of comment in common. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Let's talk about this one. Senators confident bill to block election subversion will become law. A day after the January 6th committee recommended the Justice Department to prosecute former President Trump for trying to overturn the 2020 election, a group of senators announced that they will pass reforms to make it much harder to make a similar attempt in the future. For those of you that don't know, or just to kind of reiterate, there was an attempt in several states, in a couple of states, to shoehorn fake electors in an attempt to subvert the 2020 election results. This is what this is in reference to. The Republican Party attempted to subvert the 2020 election by shoehorning fake electors. The Republican Party is fundamentally incompatible with democracy. Reason number 255,362, 850. After years of negotiations on Capitol Hill, Senators Susan Collins and Joe Manchin said an update to the Electoral Count of 1887 would be included in an end-of-year spending bill set to pass this week. It is co-sponsored by a robustly bipartisan group of 39 senators, including leaders of both parties. It came down to this very last minute, but this is a monumental achievement to reduce the catastrophic risk of a stolen presidential election through political manipulation of the Electoral Count. Imagine if this is what you claim to be a monumental achievement, to have some like basic fucking guardrails. Really? Okay. Bipedal meatbag, how's it going? That's about 10 states? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. To reduce the catastrophic risk of a stolen presidential election through the political manipulation of the electoral count. Thank God, Matthew Seligman, an expert in election law, wrote on Twitter. Seligman began studying the ECA in 2016 after Trump said that during the presidential campaign that he might not accept the results if he lost. This is 2016, by the way. This is in 2016. Seligman and other scholars say that the current ECA, which was passed in response to the disputed election of 1876, gives too much room for bad actors to deliberately misinterpret its language in an effort to throw out legitimate elections. Trump won in 2016, but 4 years later he lost and waged an extended battle to undermine American democracy that resulted in the insurrection on the Capitol by his supporters on January 6. This violent insurrection was timed to obstruct the Congress from certifying this 2020 election results, and that step in the constitutional process was delayed that day for the first time in the nation's history. As members of Congress and analysts grappled with the aftermath of what one federal judge has called a coup in search of a legal theory, it took several months for a consensus to form around the need to strengthen and clarify the ECA. This past January, Manchin and Collins began working together on the ECA reform. Also that month, the House Administration Committee released a 35-page report on the need for ECA reform. In addition, Seligman published an 87-page report that he had spent the last few years working on, which outlined in great detail the ways the ECA was vulnerable to abuse. I mean, like the whole system was based on like the honor system, the electoral college account and whatnot. All of that was based on the honor system. Yeah. Trump had pressured his vice president, Mike Pence, to reject the legitimate election results and to throw out the votes of millions of Americans, which Pence refused to do. I had no right to overturn the election. The presidency belongs to the American people and the American people alone. I mean, like, can you imagine if somebody else had been in that position? Can you imagine if somebody else had been in that position? And just to be clear, even if Pence did say, even if Pence went along and did say that this is not a legitimate election, that Trump actually won, legally he could not do that. But the fact that if he got up there and said no, these things are not, these votes or these results are not legitimate, that would have been it. That would have been it. Coups are the only thing America's good at? True. Mike Lindell and Kari Lake are still screaming in Arizona. Yeah, I mean they're going to court. Remember, audits and recounts were done. Trump still lost. Yeah, 100%. No, I'm just saying that if Mike Pence got up there and said, you know what, um, these things are not legitimate, that would have been it. That would have been the green light, for these insurrectionists, to take it to the next level. According to witnesses who testified before the January 6th committee, Trump's ultimate goal, with the help of lawyers John Eastman and Kenneth Chesebro, was to have Congress vote to approve this slate of fake electors that did not represent the actual votes in several states. Their hope was to reinstall Trump into the presidency against the wishes of the majority of Americans. Can you imagine? Like, this is still wild to me that this happened. This happened. Like, take a second to take that in, to absorb that. The Republican Party made a coordinated effort in several states to attempt to shoehorn fake electors to overturn the election. The GOP isn't going to allow this election to be determined by facts. True. They're not really interested in that. Hambliss, how's it going? One note, but if the two houses shall disagree in the respect of the vote of the counting of such votes, then in that case the votes of the electors whose appointment have been certified by the executive of the state under seal thereof shall be counted when the two houses have voted, and shall immediately meet. And the presiding officer shall then... I mean, is this just like copy... Is this just copy paste on how this works? No, I'm not referencing that. I'm referencing that the Republicans don't care how that works or doesn't. They literally attempted to shoehorn fake electors. Reinstall Trump. Can we just stick an anti-malware program on him? True.
Please clap.
I mean, this is just wild that this wasn't like an even bigger story. This is wild that this was, this is wild that this would even be, that this wasn't a bigger story. Yeah, the votes may be verified, but if the votes are being cast by fake electors, that's a whole other thing. The fact of the matter is that was a vulnerability, and the Republicans know this because they're taking this to the Supreme Court with that new North Carolina case. The Dems are complacent. They think our quote-unquote democracy is safe. True. We got out there and we did the thing. They are on the assumption that the Republican Party cares about any of these institutions or procedures or anything like that. They don't. They demonstrated that clearly. Their democracy is safe as long as the campaign cash keeps rolling in. True. GOP does not care about civics. They just worship Trump. Well, they worship the power. Yes. The problem is exactly that they don't care about any procedures or any institutions or anything like that, any democratic institutions whatsoever. They don't care. Um, they only have at this point, thinly veiled, if at all, veneer of caring about any of this. I mean, just think about it. That's just so wild. Um, that's just so wild. We were a skip and a hop away. Just a handful of people in the right place. Um, just a handful of people in the right place that could have that would have just made a different choice. And this whole thing could have been completely, this would have gone south really fast. The word you're looking for is cult. Yes. I mean, that's just mind blowing. That again, this isn't like bigger news. Can you imagine if like the Democratic Party had schemes in several states to shoehorn fake electors in an attempt to overturn an election? The coverage would be nonstop. They would be calling for sedition trials. They would be calling for treason and sedition trials. If we heard headlines, if we heard headlines about a Democratic effort to attempt to shoehorn fake electors in an effort to overturn a Republican election win, holy shit. It is nonstop coverage? What, of this? No, I barely... Like, this isn't really that, Like, I would expect some, like, story like this to be, like, wall to wall. As far as I can see, yeah, there's, like, a couple of articles here and there, but this wasn't, like, a massive wall to wall coverage thing. Not even a fun cult. They hate all the reasons I'd want to join a cult. One second, folks. Timeline is 1984 meets RoboCop. True. This can all be traced back to the most disastrous presidency in modern history, Reagan. True. 100%. What did Trump do today? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, the fact that the Republican Party and the Trump campaign had, like, schemes in several states to overturn the election isn't, like, the biggest story. It's just wild to me. Or one of the biggest stories is wild to me. I mean, like, It just blows my freaking mind. It really does. This is unprecedented. This is unprecedented. Their hope was to reinstall Trump into the presidency against the wishes of the majority of Americans. None of this was allowed under law. Eastman, according to witnesses, knew this and acknowledged it to numerous lawyers inside the White House who have testified to this fact in front of the January 6th committee. This is what we get for letting Harambe die? True. But the ECA reform bill would shut the door even tighter on portions of the 1887 legislation that were vague enough for lawyers like Eastman to try to exploit. Eastman even admitted that the Supreme Court would unanimously reject his legal theories that Trump was using as a pretext to pressure Pence, according to testimony before the January 6th committee. Former federal judge Michael Luttig, a renowned conservative legal mind who Eastman once clerked for, called Eastman's machinations the most reckless, insidious, and calamitous failures in both legal and political judgment in American history. Right, but the point was not to care about whether or not they were right. The point was to sow doubt, light the fire, like the match, and whatever happens. Under the ECA reform, the role of vice president is further clarified to ensure that no one can argue that this official has anything other than a ceremonial role as the electoral votes are counted. The ECA reform also blocks most, though not all, routes to submitting false or fake electors to Congress. Under the new law, only a state's governor can submit electors to Congress, which prevents the potential for multiple state officials to send Congress competing slates. Of course, if a governor went rogue and refused to recognize the will of the state's voters and submitted electors to Congress who did not represent the popular vote total, that could still create a crisis. Right, so this is a band-aid. This is a band-aid on a gunshot wound that is painfully obvious. The problem here with the Electoral College, right? It is painfully obvious the problem here. We don't really have a provision in the Constitution for a third of the country going batshit crazy. To be honest, I don't know how you deal with this kind of mass ignorance. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Michael Hasler, how's it going? Yeah, I don't know what to do in a situation like this. But one thing is for sure, this kind of shows us a massive problem with the Electoral College that still exists. It wasn't completely patched up. They decided to put a little band-aid on a gunshot wound. But yet, Republican governors can still say, you know what? We're not really interested in the whole democracy thing. We're going to send our own electors. So that would put that would put all the power on the state's governors. The ECA reform speaks to that scenario as well, setting up a clear, streamlined legal process to adjudicate lawsuits in such a situation. It establishes an expedited review, including a 3-judge panel with a direct appeal to the Supreme Court, an accelerated process that is available only for aggrieved presidential candidates. No system is foolproof, but the ECA reform's major strengths are that it tightens the language of how an election is to be certified. It limits the avenues to which bad actors can try to operate. And it tries to ensure that if there is a dispute, it can be quickly resolved in a federal court, in the federal courts, and ultimately the U.S. Supreme Court. Some experts worry that the 2020 may have been a trial run for future attempted coups, and under the existing ECA, bad actors at the state level could submit fake electors, and dishonest actors in Congress could seek to accept those fake electors. In such a scenario, the ultimate outcome would be confusion, litigation, and chaos, which is exactly the point. They don't have to be correct in terms of like the legality of it. They don't have to be correct. They just need to sow doubt, and their supporters would take that to the next level. They just have to light the fuse and walk away. We have to get to the root cause. It starts with restoring truth in news and eliminating lobbying, I think. I mean, well, oof, chilly. Sheesh. I mean, that is a step in the right direction, and it would need to be worked on regardless. Lobbying should either be curtailed or eliminated, period. And having a good media based on reality is also good. There would be a vacuum of authority, and those vacuums are often filled by those willing to trample on the law and seize power by any means necessary. And so the ECA reforms, its authors believe, will significantly limit the potential for disorder and delay that could give an open door to anti-democratic opportunists. Collins and Manchin said that our bipartisan group worked tirelessly to draft this legislation that fixes the flaws of the archaic and ambiguous Electoral Count Act of 1887. The reform is included as part of the year-end omnibus spending package, which is beyond me. Jesus, which is beyond me as to why it needs to be tacked on there, but okay. The problem is anything but proud Americans willing to burn down the country to prevent demonic pedophile communists that live off adrenochrome, unchristian heathens from taking control. True. We need to get rid of the Electoral College, but that would require a constitutional amendment. True. Essentially what this is just like a small band-aid wound, a small band-aid on a gunshot wound, really. The ECA reform bill, they say, establishes a clear guideline for a system of certifying and counting electoral votes for president and vice president. The larger omnibus bill is expected to receive a vote in the Senate this week, to go quickly to the House and then to President Biden for signature before the end of this year. I mean, like, this just kind of exposes the problems with the Electoral College, because, like, while it does provide a little bit better guardrails when it comes to how the elections are certified or counted, the problem remains. It could still be taken advantage of in a very, I don't want to say easy, but it's still in a uncomfortably easy way. Should a governor decide that they're not interested in democracy anymore. The fact that this was even this close is just wild. Once again, like, I just want to reiterate for folks, we had a scenario in several states where the Republican Party attempted to shoehorn fake electors with the goal of overturning the election. Oh shit. With the ultimate goal of overturning the election. Wild. By the way, folks, before we shift gears over here, if you haven't already and you want to support this channel, make sure you head on over to the YouTubes, click the subscribe button, hit the big red button, and spread the word. It does help us out. Oh, yeah, I know about this, Hambliss. The National Popular Vote Interstate Compact, essentially, what it aims to do is to ensure that while you can't just while it doesn't necessarily dismantle the electoral college, it ensures, or it basically makes sure that the popular vote and it secures the election. That's the idea. So it doesn't really torpedo the electoral college, but it kind of nullifies it in a way. Yeah, this I'm super in support of this. Very, very, very supportive of this. Without an amendment. Lorelei Lime, hello. Howdy. Already on YouTube. Thank you. Welcome, Walter. Yeah, it basically bypasses the electoral college without having to do this without an amendment, essentially. It's nice, but it's not a law. No, it's not a law. It's just a way of ensuring that popular vote wins the election. Someone asked me if I mean electorate as a slur. What? What does that even mean? If it could be a backup plan, well, I mean, save attempting to garner enough support to do a convention of states or a constitutional amendment. I mean, that's about the fastest remedy that you can deploy, given the constraints. You dirty electorate. True. Info, I'm an anarcho-communist. I said that the electorate leads us to the abyss. And that's supposed to be a slur? I don't know. That doesn't sound like a slur to me. I don't even know how that would work. Alright, speaking of, let's just kind of piggyback off the previous article. The January 6th committee made a startling allegation on Monday, claiming it had evidence that a Trump-backed attorney urged a key witness to mislead the committee about details they recalled. Remember how, I forget who made that speech at the end of one of the hearings, and they, basically offered an off-ramp, saying that if anybody happens to remember any details, or that they would like to come forward with some other information that they would be given an opportunity. Well, it turns out, according to this, allegedly, a Trump ethics attorney apparently told Cassidy Hutchinson to, quote, say that she didn't recall details that she did, and to basically say you don't remember, to the January 6th committee. Wild. I bet when they put that, when they put Trump's back to the wall, he rolls on everyone. Oh, if it was up to Trump, yeah, he would spill the beans on everybody. He doesn't care. Yeah, he doesn't care. Neither to me, but I'm but anarchist. That's funny. 100% Hambliss. 100%. If Trump's back is against the wall, he would absolutely give up whoever. He doesn't care. Claiming it had evidence that Trump-backed attorney urged a key witness to mislead the committee about details they had recalled. Though the committee declined to identify the people, CNN has learned that Stefan Passantino, the top ethics attorney... Oh, man, the irony. The irony, folks. The top ethics attorney in the Trump White House is the lawyer who allegedly advised his then client, former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson, to tell the committee that she did not, quote, recall details that she did. Sources familiar with the committee's work tell CNN. Do you think, like, you know, people like Tim Pool or anything like that, people who actually care about the truth, do you think that they're gonna cover any of this? No. There's no ethical consumption under cannibal.
Please clap.
He's thrown his own kids under the bus before. True. Sources familiar with the committee's work told CNN Trump's Save America Political Action Committee funded Passantino and his law firm Elections LLC, including paying for his representation of Hutchinson. Other sources tell CNN. The committee report notes that the lawyer did not tell his client who was paying for the legal services. Oof. Over the summer, Hutchinson emerged as a blockbuster witness for the committee, providing key insight into Trump's state of mind and his actions leading up to the January 6th insurrection on the Capitol. Before her public testimony, Hutchinson dropped Passantino and got a new lawyer. When asked about pressure on Hutchinson after Monday's hearing, committee member Representative Zoe Lofgren told CNN she was advised to say that she didn't recall something when she did. So that's pretty serious stuff. I mean, like, wouldn't that be a crime? That sounds like perjury. The episode is just one of several instances in which the committee has accused members of Trump's orbit to try to obstruct the panel's investigation. Which, again, in one of the media hearings, I forget who it was, ended that by saying, that if anyone wants to come clean, now's the time. So absolutely, they knew. Two sources familiar with the situation tell CNN that Hutchinson had discussed the episode with the Justice Department. CNN has previously reported that Hutchinson, witness intimidation. Hutchinson was cooperating with the Justice Department's January 6th investigation after she became a crucial public witness in the House probe. I've always meant to ask, what was illegal about the Stormy Daniels thing? Was it that he just used campaign finances? Yeah. That's the thing that, what's his face? Michael Cohen? Didn't he end up taking the L for that? Yeah, it was basically because of that. And the issue was nothing to do with, like, Stormy Daniels or anything. It's just that, like, campaign finances aren't really supposed to be used for that. Ethics are just a list of rules that govern behavior. They don't necessarily need to reflect good morals. That's true. That's very true. CNN has reached out to the Justice Department for comment. Passantino has not been accused of a crime. He said the House investigators never reached out for him for an interview. In a statement to CNN, Pasentino said he didn't advise Hutchinson to mislead the committee. I represented Ms. Hutchinson honorably, ethically, and fully consistent with her sole interests as she communicated them to me. I believe Ms. Hutchinson was being truthful and cooperative with the committee throughout the several interview sessions in which I represented her. It's hot potato, folks. Hot potato. Pasentino pointed out it's not uncommon for people to change lawyers because of their interests or strategies change. According to his statement, he also said political committees sometimes covers client fees at the, quote, client's request. Damn. In response to an accusation from the committee that he also shared her testimony with other lawyers and press even when she told him not to. He said external communications made on Ms. Hutchinson's behalf while I was her counsel were made with her express authorization. By Tuesday, Pasentino's professional biography had been removed from the website of a Midwestern-based law firm where he was a partner, and he acknowledged in his statement that he was on a leave of absence from the firm given the distraction of this matter. Yeah. Okie dokie. That firm, Michael Best and Friedrich LLP, said on Tuesday was not involved in the situation and Ms. Hutchinson wasn't a client. Pasentino said he remains a partner at Elections LLC. The House January 6 committee during the hearings over the summer said it was concerned about potential witness tampering. CNN has reported that witness was Hutchinson. The committee's summary stated that the panel is aware of multiple efforts by President Trump to contact select committee witnesses. The Department of Justice is aware of at least one of those circumstances. Right. Yeah, it was this guy, Mr. Thompson. There we go. Yeah, it was this guy. Yeah, saying something was done, quote, ethically just means that the rules were followed. Their rules, exactly. Then on Monday, in the executive summary to the final report, the committee revisited the issue in its handoff to the investigation of to the Justice Department. According to the report, the lawyer had advised the witness that the witness could, in certain circumstances, tell the committee that she did not recall facts when she actually did recall them. When the witness raised concerns with her lawyer about that approach, according to the summary, the lawyer said they don't know what you know. They don't know that you can recall some of these things, so you're saying I don't recall is an entirely acceptable response to this. The lawyer instructed the client about a particular issue that would cast a bad light on President Trump. No, we don't want to go there. We don't want to talk about that. At the committee's final public hearing, Lofgren said, the witness believed that this was an effort to affect her testimony and were concerned that these efforts may have been a strategy to prevent the committee from finding the truth. Lawyers must follow extensive ethic guidelines as part of their profession, including avoiding conflict of interest that could compromise the representation of a client. According to legal ethics expert, a lawyer swaying their client's testimony in a way that could that wouldn't entirely be truthful could be looked at as possible obstruction of an investigation. Yikes. Elections LLC, a political law practice Pasentino and other Trump lawyers founded after he left the Trump White House, has received regular payments from the Save America PAC and other Trump-backed groups. According to the FEC filings, the Save America PAC distributions to the firm for legal consultation totaled more than $150,000 in 2021 and about $275,000 in 2022. Jeez. The firm also worked for major Republican congressional campaigns. This year, Trump's Save America PAC has made payments to several law firms representing witnesses in the January 6 and Mar-a-Lago investigations. An issue only arises if the lawyer doesn't follow the client's wishes, legal experts and professional rules say. The committee, in its summary, so like basically they're playing hot potato. They're playing hot potato. They noted efforts by Trump to contact some witnesses as well as multiple Secret Service agents, hiring private lawyers rather than agency-provided lawyers who would represent them for free. A Secret Service driver's lawyer admitted to writing notes to the driver as they testified about what was being said, according to the committee. The committee also said it believes some witnesses, such as Trump's former White House press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, and former president's daughter, Ivanka Trump, weren't as frank or direct as others. The report also said the committee believed a White House staffer, Anthony Ornato, gave testimony consistent with the false account in a book written by Mark Meadows, downplaying Trump's wish to go to the Capitol on January 6th. Oh, man. Yikes. The committee says it plans to release a transcript that will shed further light on witness testimony they found to be, quote, questionable. In its summary, Monday, the committee gave several other examples of evidence suggesting specific efforts to obstruct their work. They noted efforts by Trump to contact some witnesses, as well as multiple Secret Service agents hiring private lawyers rather than agency-provided lawyers who would represent them for free. A Secret Service driver admitted to writing notes. Oh, wait, we went over this. Hold on. Why did it go back? Okay. So, TLDR, it seems like there is some obstruction and allegedly witness tampering too. Alia with another 10 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Presidents need to have good morals, and their ethics just need to align with the best interests of the electorate. In an ideal scenario, yes, that's what we would like to see. Yes. Marijuana advocates stunned after McConnell opposition dooms the banking bill. We went over this when it was first talked about. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like this will come to fruition. Marijuana advocates and executives are up in arms after opposition from Senate GOP leader Mitch McConnell resulted in Congress failing to pass a key cannabis banking bill, dealing a massive blow to the industry. The $1.7 trillion omnibus spending bill unveiled on Tuesday includes all kinds of expenditures, but it does not include the Safe Banking Act, a bipartisan measure that would undo federal restrictions that make it difficult for legal cannabis businesses to access financial services. The fact that there was speech after speech and tweet after tweet about how cannabis policy was priority and how we know they were very certain that the votes are there, it was just never brought to the floor, which is of course disappointing, said Kim Rivers, CEO of Florida-based True Leaf Cannabis Corp. The measure has a ton of political support. It passed the House 7 times, receiving a whopping 321 votes this year, and had enough GOP support to reach 60 votes in the Senate. But it did not have the support of Mitch McConnell, whose opposition kept it out of the spending bill. So why not, the question here then is like, well, if it's so fucking popular, as it seems to be, I mean, like, cannabis policy is, the verdict is clear. If it was up to the people, we would have legal recreational weed. So, I mean, I don't understand. Why not pass this as a separate bill instead of with the omnibus bill? Why not just pass it separately since it has such a wide support? That's what doesn't make any sense. McConnell first blocked the Safe Banking Act, Safe Banking Act's inclusion in the defense bill earlier this month, arguing that it would make the U.S. financial system more sympathetic to illegal drugs. How? That would be too transparent. True. It now faces an even steeper climb to become law in the next Congress, with Republicans taking over the House. The bill's supporters argue inaction could lead to devastating consequences. Cannabis business have suffered from a sustained wave of robberies because federal law forces them to operate in cash. Due to the threat of federal penalties for banks that work with cannabis firms, dispensaries often struggle to access loans and are subject to huge interest rate if they do manage to secure funding. This very much means that there will continue to be people whose lives are put at risk because they're having to operate in an all cash business. Like, not only that, if you're worried about, like, quote, more sympathetic to illegal drugs, but understand that, like, real people are being affected by this, it's encouraging, or at least there's a slight incentive for crimes if they're forced to operate in a all cash business. What about that? None of this makes any sense. They should have just passed it as a standalone bill to begin with and be done with it. This very much means that there'll be a continued people whose lives are being put at risk because they have to operate in an all cash business. Said Calico Castillo, the president of Minority Cannabis Business Association. Untold numbers of smaller cannabis companies that were waiting for the safe banking and don't have access to capital may soon go out of business, industry executives warned on Tuesday. Some of those companies will enter the illegal market, which allows them to dodge heavy taxes stemming from federal rules that restrict cannabis business from taking common deductions. What the Senate did by not voting for the safe banking is to encourage the illicit market to thrive. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, by default, right? By definition. The illicit market doesn't do testing, doesn't pay taxes, and at the moment is not being enforced against. So they're thriving, whereas companies that are actually operating under the rules are the ones that are suffering. Advocates were near certain that the Safe Banking Act would cross the finish line before Democrats ceded the House to the control of the House next Congress, particularly after President Biden embraced marijuana reforms for the first time in October. Senate passage, however, was always elusive. The bill was set to be included in last year's defense package, but Senator Majority Leader Chuck Schumer pulled it amid pressure from marijuana justice advocates who noted that it didn't address social inequities caused by the war on drugs. Massachusetts go out of decriminalized marijuana and stores with over 18% state taxes. I'll have to look it up. Yeah, but this would allow this kind of stuff on a federal level. If you're going to be a troll, you're not going to have a good time here. I'm just letting you know. If your plan is to come troll here, you're not going to have a good time. Not only did the Senate squander a chance to score a bipartisan victory this year, its inaction threatens public safety and undermines the progress states are making in mending the racial inequities on the war on drugs. Said Khadija Tribble, CEO of the U.S. Cannabis Council, said in a statement. Lawmakers and advocates have criticized Schumer for opting not to prioritize a standalone vote in the Senate. True! Why wasn't this a standalone vote? Instead, he focused on a comprehensive marijuana legislation bill that didn't have a chance of passing the upper chamber. Some point to a Justice Department memo released earlier this month warning that the banking bill could hinder investigations into money laundering and illegal drugs if it wasn't tweaked, which sparked concern among prominent GOP senators. Others have looked inward, arguing that the cannabis industry's message hasn't resonated on Capitol Hill like it should, given marijuana's immense popularity. I feel like in some places, folks have thought we had more support than we really did. And ultimately, we still have got to do some work with more offices to make sure that we have the votes there, and Leader McConnell doesn't feel like he's in a power position to be able to shut things down. A September morning consult poll commissioned by the Independent Community Bankers of America found that 2/3 of voters support allowing cannabis firms to access banking services. Just 10% of respondents in November Pew Research poll said that marijuana should be outlawed in all cases. Good memes. Yet Tuesday's omnibus bus bill is a double whammy for cannabis backers. It also includes a GOP provision barring Washington, D.C. from implementing legal weed sales, a rider that has been included in every spending bill since 2014 when the district's residents voted to legalize marijuana. Damn. The industry will resume its push next Congress, where the roles will be likely reversed. Senate passage may be attainable, but the House will be a bigger lift. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, the odds on favor to win the speakership, previously voted for the Safe Banking Act, but it's unclear whether he would prioritize a floor vote in his first year. The real question is the House even going to debate it? McCarthy's going to control the agenda, and he's going to have to appeal to more conservative element of the House who may not want to deal with this at all. Absolutely fucking useless. Imagine having the ability to pass this and completely yeet that out of the way. Unreal. This one is on Schumer. I gotta say. This one's on Chuck Schumer. He had the opportunity to just pass it. And he completely failed on this one. Unreal. All right, folks. Candace Owens. Candace Owens calls for discrimination against trans non-binary people. Society would be safer if we just discriminated more. Yeah. Candace Owens, everybody. Candace Owens said that she definitely discriminates against certain people and suggested society would be safer if more people did the same. On Monday, the right-wing commentator began her podcast. By the way, she still has a job at the Daily Wire. So Ben Shapiro on the Daily Wire completely... Jesus Christ. Hold on, folks. Sheesh. Where is the music coming from? No, it's not this ad either. Sheesh. That was very, very loud. Oh. That's okay. I didn't need my hearing anyways. I didn't need my ears anyways. Okay. Whew. Let's try this again. Candace Owens said she definitely discriminates against certain people and suggested society would be safer if more people did the same. On Monday, the right-wing commentator began her podcast defending her right to discriminate against transgender and non-binary people. I discriminate. I feel like I want to get off my chest. First of all, that's illegal, but okay. It's said at the start of episode 58 of the Candace Owens podcast, which, by the way, as I was mentioning, she's still employed at the Daily Wire. So the Daily Wire, people like Ben Shapiro and whatnot completely support this. I'm already feeling lighter, she said. Owens went on to blame the left, the radical left, for turning terms such as discrimination into a dirty word, which is something she wholeheartedly disagrees with. Quite frankly, I think we need to discriminate. I discriminate all the time. She continued, saying that she does when hiring or befriending people. Of course, Candace Owens either is trying to muddy the waters with what discrimination actually means, or she's actually too stupid and doesn't understand the definition. Discrimination is the unjust or prejudicial treatment of different categories of people, especially on the grounds of protected classes like ethnicity, age, sex, gender, disability, race, so on and so forth, right? That's what discrimination is. When you're hiring and you choose a candidate over other candidates, you are not discriminating. Just to be clear. More specifically, the 33-year-old black conservative commentator said she definitely discriminates against men that paint their nails and wear dresses. See, that is discrimination. She said, likely referring to non-binary people and transgender women. I don't really care how you feel about that. Wear your dress and you can paint your nails, but I prefer to keep 100 feet away from the playground and all the feet away from my children and me. Again, playing on the trope that the LGBTQ people are groomers, which is all the rage on the far right now. She's just playing to that trope. Owens justifies her discrimination as being, quote, healthy. It's actually good. Adding that she's also discriminates when hiring a personal trainer or a medical professional. I don't want a dentist with bad teeth. Yeah, but this isn't the same teeth. This isn't the same thing. Okay? Again, discrimination is the unjust and prejudicial treatment of people based on category protected classes. That's what that means. It's not when like, oh, I didn't like my dentist because I feel like they're gonna do a bad job. That's not discrimination. I don't want Lizzo being my trainer. Well, good thing Lizzo isn't a fucking trainer. She's like a musician, isn't she? Fucking idiot. I'm going to discriminate against somebody that is clinically obese. They're never gonna get me healthy. Well, they're not going to because they're a musician. Okay. Calling such discrimination a, quote, survival mechanism, Owens also mocked those who are accepting of such people. And so we get that feeling. My mother used to refer to it as heebie-jeebies. What the fuck? When someone just gives you the heebie-jeebies, even if you can't quite put your finger on it. Oh, Candace, we know you can. Candace, we know you can. I think you need to lean in on that, and I actually think that society would be safer if we discriminated more. Candace Owens, everybody. And don't take it from this random article. Don't take it from this random article from God knows where, right? Why would you listen to that? Let's just listen to it from herself, right?
Yes, I do discriminate. You know, the left does this thing where they take words and they just make them sound bad or they make them sound good. They're very good at linguistics, right? So a bad thing...
Notes. The left understands words and English and grammar and linguistics. Got it. So the left is more educated. Okay. Gotcha.
That they make sound good is like abortion. They call it Planned Parenthood. You go.
The left does not call abortion Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood, Candace, is an organization. Candace. Oh my god, what a fucking clown. Planned Parenthood. No, an abortion is an abortion, Candace. Planned Parenthood is a place, like an organization. Okay.
Oh, that's lovely. No, but actually they're killing a bunch of infants in the womb. So that's actually not a good thing. And then they always have these terms. You go, what do they mean? Cisgender, heteronormative, which...
You don't understand what heteronormative means? It means like the norm is like it's in the word. Candace. Candace, it's in the norm. It's in the word. Hetero. And then normative. Has this woman never opened a dictionary in her life? I mean, I think she just like discovered, because it's also apparent that she doesn't know what discrimination means, or is purposely trying to muddy it, to kind of like, to kind of normalize, this idea that we should discriminate based on, these protected classes. She's trying to normalize doing that, so she's kind of making the definitions murky. Either that, or she's never picked a fucking dictionary in her life. I mean, I guess that's on me, because she did start the segment by saying that the left is obviously more versed in language and the left is more educated. She did concede that, so maybe that one's on me.
Which basically means that you're not problematic enough.
No, Candace. Heteronormative doesn't mean that you're not problematic enough. Heteronormative has a definition. Heteronormative is denoting or relating to a worldview that promotes heterosexuality as a norm. That's what that word means, Candace. It doesn't mean that you're not as problematic. Like, what does that even mean? You're not making sense, Candace.
Basically means that you're not problematic enough, and they kind of try to smear you or libel you on the basis that there's nothing wrong with you enough. And so there's just, you're too perfect. You're too
perfect. That's not what heteronormative means. It just means that you view the world in a certain way, or that society is built around a certain way. In this case, heterosexuality. That's the definition of that word. And like, by you saying that you're not problematic enough, you're implying that if you're not heterosexual, then you are problematic. Why? Why is that? See, right now, you're actually deploying a heteronormative view.
too normal. So I'm going to call you cisgender or whatever.
Well, cisgender also has a definition. That's another word. Candace. That's another word. Cisgender is denoting or relating to a person whose gender identity corresponds with the sex registered for that at birth. That's it. That's it. It doesn't mean you're perfect or not perfect or nothing. It just means that you're cisgender. That's it. Jesus fucking Christ.
Ever. And I've started thinking about this weekend in terms of the word discrimination. It's become a dirty word. You're not allowed.
It hasn't become a dirty word. It always was. It always was. You should never discriminate. You should never discriminate against a person based on any of these characteristics. We had a whole, we had several civil rights movements for this, Candace.
to discriminate. Oh my God, that's discrimination. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you shouldn't. And it's illegal on top of that. Not only just you shouldn't, but it's also illegal if your job does that.
Should not discriminate. And actually, quite frankly, I think we need to discriminate. I discriminate all the time, every single day. And this morning, I just jotted down a few examples of when I discriminate. And I'm going to share them with you so that you can feel comfortable sharing your list with your friends. Ready?
Oh my God. This is delusional. Yeah, and you can discriminate, and you can discriminate, and you can... no, dude, that's not how this works. Nor do I think she understands. I mean, like, maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe she literally just has never opened a dictionary in her life.
I discriminate when I hire. I think that's probably illegal, but who does?
Holy shit. Okay. Let's go back a second to the definition of discrimination. As she immediately says, that's probably illegal, but I do it anyways. Hello, NLRB. I would like to report. I would like to report.
Doesn't discriminate when they hire. That wouldn't even make sense. Especially
No. See, now we're talking about something completely different. When you select a candidate, when you're hiring, you're not discriminating. You know that, right? You're not. If you get hired at a job, it doesn't mean your job discriminated against the other candidates. That's not how that works. Just remember, don't have Candace Owens as your boss. True. Hey, Wolf Glenn, how's it going?
If I'm hiring for childcare, a woman walks through my door and she makes me uncomfortable for any reason at all. It could be any reason. I'm not going to hire her. Why would I allow this person who makes me uncomfortable watch my children?
But if you hire somebody because they make you feel uncomfortable, that is not discrimination. Discrimination has a completely distinct definition. Rules for thee and not for me. What does that mean? Good. Do you have her as a boss and get a good lawyer? True. I could use some of that. You're right. You know what? You're right, Wolf Glenn. Send in my application to fucking the Daily Wire, specifically to Candace. Okay? Specifically to Candace Owens. Alright? I'm typing up my resume right now. Hee. Rules for thee, but not for me. What does that mean? What does that have to do with anything? You okay, bud?
We should discriminate. Of course I'm going to discriminate. If she looks like a freak, she can't watch my child. It's that simple.
Jesus Christ. I'm pretty sure she was gonna lean into the whole I'm pretty sure this was going based on... Hey, whoa, Jesus Christ. I'm pretty sure she was gonna lean into like the whole transphobia thing based on the article and based on her own fucking words. Yeah. Always good to use old English phrasing. Yeah, but I don't know if this person knows what that means. To be quite honest. Holy shit, this is wild. I'm amazed. I'm amazed that she has a job at the Daily Wire. Especially after like the whole like Ye incident. I am absolutely amazed that she has a job at the Daily Wire. But hey, I mean, this is what conservatism is, I guess. This is what passes. as good conservative commentary. All right, folks. Yeah, I mean, conservatives would like nothing more than to go back to the 1950s. Although, wonder how that would play out for somebody like Candace Owens. Her presence gets views, not any more complicated than that, I think. Yeah. I suppose at the end of the day, that's really all that matters for them, right? The money! And if she and her controversies keep bringing in views and views bring in money, there's no reason to change the formula there. There's no reason to change that formula. Discriminate between one thing and another? No, that's not what she's referring to, though. That's not what she's referring to. I mean, you can try to twist it. You can try to perform Olympic levels of mental gymnastics to explain that. And of course, her job is to launder this idea and normalize what she's pushing, which is actual discrimination. And she was leaning into this idea of like discriminating against like trans people and whatnot. That's what she's trying to launder. You don't get it twisted. You could try. I can see what it is. You could try. I don't know what that even means. You're not making any sense. Try again. Her job is to give racist cover. True. Do you have children? That's kind of a weird question. Why the fuck would you ever ask somebody, like a public, like, why would you ask a streamer that? Do you have children? That's kind of a weird question. Hey, person that I've never met before. Do you have kids? The fuck? Because I would discriminate, and yeah, you can go fuck yourself. Fuck out of here. If you possible future crimes as rational, then you should stay home. True. Fucking weirdo. That's creepy. Do you have kids? Not only was it creepy, but you're also like a piece of shit. You know that, right? Holy shit. Look at that rap sheet. Look at that rap sheet. It's a banhammer around. No, yeah, I immediately upgraded that one to a band because that's just no, that's good enough for me. I've seen this clown before. This clown has been in my chat several times. But yeah, no, thank you. Fuck off. Yeah, not only is it weird, but yeah, whatever. You know, conservatives, what can I tell you? Conservatives. What can I tell you? Alright, folks. Unfortunately, I do have to get going. I've got plenty of things to do. Today is my last day to start, to finish up any preparations for that winter storm that is approaching us this weekend. It is going to get really, really cold over here. If you're in the, you know, upper, I guess, north, east, and, well, most of this, but really in the northeast, it's going to get really bad, or in the upper northwest. Make sure that you guys have everything that you need. Prepare, because it's going to be very, very, very cold. Yeah, so much so that, certain shelters, certain war shelters have already opened for the weekend. So below 40 then? Oh, no. It's gonna get like in the teens to 9 degrees. Could be as cold as 9. Maybe colder, we don't know. South Florida, even South Florida is going to be a little bit cooler. South Florida is going to be about this temperature, how it is now, in the 40s, which is wild. But here where I am, it's going to get very, very, very cold. Very cold. Make sure you have food for a week. Yeah, I'm good. I'm stocked. I'm stocked. I've had to get plenty of supplies in case the power goes out, because we don't have you know, like those generators. We don't have one of those. So if the power goes out, that's some. The other, I want to say the other month, the power went out when it was like 30 something degrees, and that was cold. What's coming this weekend is something that I've never experienced before. So that's gonna be a first. Possible snow. Possible snow. Also, fun fact, I've never seen snow in my life, so I might, I maybe get the opportunity to see it. We will see, because it might be in the night, or it might be in the way morning, who knows. But ice, for sure, sleet, and very cold temperatures are heading our way, so I need to get to the store and make sure that I finish, grabbing some stuff before, because you know, tomorrow, by tomorrow, that's it. It's too late. Then you're in for a treat if you've never seen snow. I haven't. So I'm excited. Windbreaker weather. What? It's not windbreaker weather. It's bust out the parka weather. For me, anyways. For me, I've never experienced that. Honestly, as I've learned, it's really about what you wear. It's really about what you wear. If you like, you can be fine in like very, very chilly weather if you're layered with the correct stuff. It's not the amount of layers, it's the correct stuff. Okay? Oh, Canadian? Psh, get out of here. Listen. Out. No, I'm kidding. Of course, yeah, then you absolutely are completely comfortable in this weather. Completely comfortable. I've never experienced this. This is a former Florida man. Former Florida man about to become a freaking icicle. All right. I do have to get going. Folks, before I go, if you guys have a moment and you guys want to support the channel, not only hit the follow button up here, but head on over to the YouTubes. Click the big red subscribe button. It really does help us out. Join us Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And possibly this Sunday, we might have a Christmas Sunday episode. So stay tuned. Join the Discord as well if you want to keep up with the channel. As always, thank you guys. Thank you for the massive support that you guys have given. Thank you for the biddies and follows. I appreciate that. Welcome all the followers. You get 5 free emotes for following. You get 5 free emotes for following, so easy peasy. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. See ya! Sorry for the short stream, but I do have to run. Oh look, let's go to the surfs with Benjamin Dixon. Nice. Hang tight, everybody. Alright, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya.